We're out of time and out of space, lamenting for the human race. A cataclysmic crisis from the past. A small blue world asunder torn, an apocalyptic nightmare born, and mankind better learn to cope with it fast. Watch the glittering protectors rise! Inhuman foes meet your demise! And boom, boom, boom! Your end is nigh!
Alright. Hello!
Hi!
Ha 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 ha!
Jabba no wanga tanga.
Le Jabba no bother. Welcome to Savage Rift's The Tomorrow Legion by Happy Jack's podcast. My name is Kadave, and I will be seeing what happens next along with the rest of you. To my left.
Hello, I am Kimmy. I play Arabella Kinsley. I am a cyber knight. And I was not here last time.
It's true.
So
You were in the truck.
I was totally in the truck the whole time. I
super
was
in the
not
truck
at
the
home,
whole time.
super sick. It was
That
in
truck
the truck.
was safe.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Safe truck. Alright.
And I'm Sam. I play Tiffany, who's a dragon.
Hey guys, I'm Nick. I play Indiana Rex, the dog boy explorer.
And we are missing our resident connoisseur of
Curd?
Poutine.
Connoisseur of curd.
yes. The connoisseur of curd. Lambert, a.k.a. Stu.
Lambert Delanoy. Connoisseur of curd.
Which also means that as a group, they lack a giant gun. So it'll be
true.
fun.
I don't know if fun is the word.
Yeah.
Oh, it's totally fun.
Maybe for you.
I sort of am fond of the giant gun, as long as it's not, killing us.
Right
Right.
next
our
to you,
parents.
Or any of those things,
Yeah.
or your parents. Yeah.
Sad face.
Yeah.
He just got on the inside of the mech. None of you know, but he has pictures of all of your parents, and he just got one X.
He's just like marking him off. Oh man,
Wow.
I could see that actually. There's like a dark
Might be
side to
true.
Lambert.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We think it's
Totally.
all.
He's got
poutine.
the X-Men wall with
Oh yeah.
missing, presumed dead.
Yeah, or it's that computer program from The Incredibles, like the this guy dead, this guy unknown, this guy.
Yeah.
Last time,
Ooh, let's read my diary.
Go diary, go.
Good morning, diary. Slim Jim guy was making a tasty smelling meat slurry. Oh, we were in the town.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the town seemed pretty quiet. We decided to head north on the Thief Bot Trail. Heading up the road, we saw a large vehicle in the road. Lambert noticed it. It's called a monster truck. Rex explained that they don't actually have monsters in them, but Lambert says they do have what's called douchebags inside. We decided to flank it. Lambert headed off to the east, and we continued on the road. Closer, we could see that the truck has skulls all over it. Mostly not human ones, but no dragon ones. That's good. Lambert saw a path in the tall grass off to the east, about 15 to 10 feet wide. He didn't see any movement, but the passenger door had been blown off. Or torn off, whichever. Rex shouted a hello, but no one responded. We went to go look at the vehicle. It had some outdoorsman supplies and hides on it. Rex smelled pee and something weird in the cab. The dash has some gross jelly smeared on it. This seems like the work of those yucky slug dudes. Ew. Rex found some weapons and took some pictures to see if the townsfolk recognized the truck. And then suddenly Lambert got smashed in the side of the head by an energy blast.
He'll pull the audio.
He said, "Company to the east." I dragoned out for battle, and the monster truck got hit with a blast and melted. Cool, but also, ooh crap. Lambert shot at the source of the second blast to the north. Just east of the road, we heard a blood-curdling scream from the blast zone. Rex ran through the tall grass east. I heard a weird air conditioning noise behind me, and there was a rectangular shadow next to my tail. I hit it, but it was an actual shadow. And there's a rectangular hovery ship above me. A blast of energy hit me in the back. It was sorta itchy. Jerks. A weird, horrible, gooey tentacle dude was leaning over the side of the ship. The whole nope train to Nopeville, so I tried to spit fire at him, but only managed to set the truck on fire. I took cover next to the flaming truck. I tried again and nailed the aim, but he had a stupid shield. For a second, it looked like his crazy, gross tentacles were coming at me, but they're not even that long. Don't kid yourself, bro. Lambert shot at the east general region of shooting, and another blood-curdling scream happened. Rex shot at the floaty platform, and the shield disintegrated. The barge lowered towards the ground, and a lady leapt down. She aimed... What does that say? I don't know what that says. She aimed something at me. It was kind of shocky, but not so bad. Lambert shot at the barge, and it looked pretty damaged. It quickly lost altitude. Rex drew his alien railgun and shot at Grossy McSlimeface. He nailed him, and that guy oozed off the falling barge, and he hit the ground hard. I slapped Shock Lady with my tail right in the gut, and she flew back a few feet and came up in a crouch. She looks a little shaken. Rex fired the alien gun again at Grossy McSlimeface's lady friend. She got hit in the shoulder, and it evaporated awesomely. I went over and lit the puddle of McSlimeface on fire. It smelled super bad.
Oh.
The barge finally hit the ground, and there were weird eyeball jars on it that Rex asked me to set on fire too. Also, there was a weird metal thing with some corpses on it. Maybe the monster truck douchebags? Rex salvaged some battery doodads from the barge, and then he gave the douchebags a quick funeral. Then we hit the road again northeast.
Excellent.
So, yeah, and Arabella was in the truck the whole time.
The whole time.
Whole time.
Yeah. I'm a slacker.
No.
It had said bad poutine.
Somebody had
Oh,
somebody had to
I shouldn't have
stay
had
in
that.
the truck.
We've been too long. It's been in the. He doesn't have a refrigerator in there. I don't trust it.
I was really hungry.
I was gonna say, like, it's not as funny without her in the group doing things because you don't have
Oh yeah,
all of
because
the
I don't
name
have all the
changes.
stupid name changes.
Like, I was waiting, and then I was like, oh yeah, it's never gonna happen because she wasn't here that time.
Gotta wait till next time.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so you guys have made some distance heading northeast along I-95 up the East Coast. You pass through a lot of farmland as you're kind of moving north. Obviously, you do go through some of the remains of some cities, and there's some weird spots that look like they probably should have had something there once, but now there's like a big crater.
Ah.
Okay.
And you don't really know why. It doesn't look like a bomb went off, but it looks almost like maybe a rift opened and carved out a chunk of the earth and took it somewhere else. Since they kind of work both ways.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff along the way. I think...
He wants us to draw a card.
If you want to give him a shovel.
It's card
Yeah, yeah.
time.
I passed him over there, Kim. Don't
Yeah, no.
stress.
Is there a mic clipped to the table over there? Or did you grab that one?
There
Well,
is
there
a
is totally.
mic
Okay, I'm going
over
to
there.
turn it off then. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, that's me. Look at me! I can count to
Yay.
3. That's the third seat.
Well, unless it was all jiggered up.
No, I'm proud of myself because I knew that was the right seat. Like, I just first click.
You did that part great, but this might have been all tangled up and
That's-
mixed with another one.
That's how I noticed it was on. Yeah.
No, probably because I bumped my book and everything on top of it.
It was like, oh, that's an interesting noise that's happening. Cards. Oh, I'm sorry. We have a helpful player too.
Ah,
From Sir Guido to Nick, Hair
Hey.
is blue, electric boogaloo.
Ooh, thank you.
Man.
They are fans of colored hair. Like
I get it.
Jason's mohawk and Max like bright green hair. They're big fans of that.
Yeah.
That was
And you're beautiful.
that was the
Yeah.
discussion I got.
I'll be going back
At
to the
one
Hawk
point.
soon.
Nice.
That was the like the shock that I didn't know Mac. I'm
You
like
you haven't been in a game with her
I've
yet.
never been in a game with her.
Yeah.
I've never met her at all. And they were like, "What do you mean? You aren't all people? Like you aren't all?"
We don't all
And I'm like,
live
"It's not like we have
together."
like a pod that we go like, all right, night everybody. Wait till the next stream." Like,
Or do we?
right. But maybe we're just on alternating shifts, so we never meet.
Greetings, Kadave Unit. It is good to see you again.
Exactly. I was like, yeah, all right. I know I show up here a lot, but
All right, I shuffled and cut.
just take the top card.
Well,
Stu would be so
oh man. It's a
I believe
Joker.
the Black Joker is muy bad
Yes.
in
Yes.
Savage Worlds. If Deadlands has taught me
See.
anything.
Uh-oh.
So you didn't need to prepare a session. You're just going to pop us
Yeah,
into an
we're just
alternate
gonna
reality
be dead.
now. We'll just play Rift games.
Nah. Although I have, well, no, I won't say it. I have an idea that I think could be really fun, but I don't want to use it. I don't want to let you know in case I
Sure.
actually do it.
Is it It's a Wonderful Rift? We go to the world where we never existed.
It's the most
At one
wonderful rift of the year.
At one point, I did a Rift game where the last rift that the people went through took them onto the tabletop. So like
Oh,
they
nice.
look around and they see these
There's
weird,
giants.
big, giant, thick lines, and there's like all of a sudden just a giant hand comes down and picks up one of them and moves them. And like,
Amazing.
That's awesome.
which was good. It was just
Very meta.
yes,
Yeah, super meta.
but I don't want to do that this time. The thing I want to do is something more complicated.
Chat room, yes, this is
You're
actually...
welcome.
Yeah. This is actually a giant beer that he's drinking.
Oh, yeah, but
They were wondering if
Thelonious.
you were just drinking straight from a wine bottle.
No, it's just a tall boy of beer.
Really. What is
Really-
this it's sitting on?
Really good beer.
Oh, it's
Ice.
ice. Oh, it's like an ice pad.
Keep my beer cold.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's
That's
fascinating.
Where does he get these wonderful toys?
I do like that Brother
internet.
Felonious beer. It's
On
really
the
good.
internet.
Oh, I love it. Although, I had a friend try it, and he said something that for a long time really tainted my opinion.
Oh no.
Because he was like, that's weird, it's like soy sauce.
Oh,
And I was like, what? And then the next swig I took, I was like, oh, it is like soy sauce. And then now that I've kind of come back around, like, it's good.
yeah.
Because it has this really dark caramely flavors that
Okay. I could kind of see that, I guess.
The chat room is now obsessed with if we all lived in the same house together, it's like Big Brother Happy Jacks. This season on Big Brother Happy Jacks crew.
except like it would be fine because we're all okay people.
Yeah, we're good
like
people.
No, so it would have to be more like the weakest link.
Yeah.
You, Stork, you have rolled a 1.
You're one.
You are the weakest link.
well, yeah, but
You have failed to bring beer to the game. That's what it would do. That's what they do. They'd cut off the beer. And then things would start getting
yeah.
super cutthroat. There's like one mini fridge that occasionally gets alcohol put in it, and like we.
it's like
fight
a
over that.
double-sided thing.
Yeah.
People, we're in like biodome. Like,
The producers put it and are taken away.
oh my god, that would be the worst.
I know, right?
Sounds like a con game.
Yep, it does. Actually. Absolutely.
Damn it. I never remember where. Oh, by the way, last game we had a combat and we didn't fuck anything up.
Hey!
Good job, us. Oh yeah, I was gonna ask if there were any things we did wrong last time.
Yes.
So either they're lazy and just didn't tell us, or
No,
we
it's
did it.
Erica. She commented on the
Oh,
video.
she was
so
like, "Oh my god, I have
No,
nothing to say."
She just agreed with Nick
Ah.
at one point, and it was like, "Yay!"
Good job. Nice.
About Bennying for
Yeah. Erica gives the best comments. She's awesome.
Oh yeah.
And she's on our forum if you'd also like to join in
Yeah.
our conversations. happyjacks.org/forum.
Huh.
Lots of fun. And you can talk about this game and our other APs. There's system forums. There's forums for looking for a group, either online or in person. If you want to play.
There's GM resources. There's player resources.
Yeah.
There's just interaction with us because we like to talk to you as much as you like to talk to us.
Absolutely. And then there's a bullshitting one for talking about whatever the heck you want.
Sure.
So
I'll
super
do that.
fun.
Well, yeah. Because you can't get a bunch of people together on the internet and not expect somebody to just bring up random shit.
Yeah, right. We're talking about movies. We do that a lot.
Sure.
That's a big thing in there.
All right. So here's what's going to happen. Flying along overhead, you see one of those weird football messenger drones like you've carried. And it flies in and like impacts in the middle of the road, maybe 100 yards in front of you guys.
Ooh.
And you kind of see the poof of a impact crater.
Anyone expecting a care package?
Well, they couldn't carry much. I mean, it's really like kind of a football with a long tail kind of thing. So if you're expecting cookies and toilet paper,
Yeah.
probably not.
Poutine. Biscuits and gravy.
I love the gravy train moniker too, by the way. That makes me happy.
Yeah. I was not expecting anything that I'm aware of.
I don't know anyone that uses mail.
Well, let's take a
Well,
look.
I mean, it wasn't traveling so fast you didn't get a decent look at it, and it looks really similar to the ones you have.
Oh, okay.
So it's a fair bet that it may be something from
Yeah.
Castle Refuge.
Maybe new information about the people that took Vaughn.
Yeah.
Could be. We should check it out.
Hopefully. All right. Let's
We'll head over and open it up.
You get over there, and inside there's a little... it's like a plastic case around a piece of paper that looks like note card sized, kind of a thing. Like in the movies, like the
like an
nuclear
OtterBox?
code, like the president, anytime somebody needs to fire a nuclear weapon, they crack open the plastic thing, that kind of a deal. So, and it's like a folded piece of paper inside.
I unfold it and read it. Assuming I can read it. I unfold it. What is it?
It's in common English. So as long as you can read, then ta-da.
Yes.
And it's a message from the castle, and it says that they have received a message from...
The king. No, I'm just
What?
Nothing. It's okay. I've been watching a lot of Hamilton. It's in my head. Go.
like the only dude that hates it.
I know. Sorry.
Everybody I know is like, "Yay, we're going! We got tickets this weekend! Yay!" And I'm like, "Oh,
Poor bastard.
like,
I love
sorry.
you anyway.
It's cool. It's cool. Give me some tickets to Man of La Mancha. I'll be right there."
Yeah.
Anyway, they have received a message from a mercenary who claims he has some information about one of you, and that he's gonna pass that information along in a hurtful way unless he gets payment. And they seem to think that it has to do with Lambert. But
Who's suspiciously silent on this subject.
yeah, he's just surly and sleeping inside. Like you keep knocking on the mech and it doesn't wake up, and he's just
Go away. I am asleep.
It just snores louder
Yeah.
every time you knock.
militantly snoring.
Yeah.
I'm unavailable for blackmail today. Leave me alone.
But I mean, you guys are 1,000 miles away from the
Right.
castle at this point, so it's not like you can do a lot.
Yeah.
But
It must be a big deal if they're like. I'll say that in character. This
Well,
must
like-
be a very serious situation if they're sending us information from this far away.
they're willing to pay the guy because Lambert has done tons of good work. But they wanted him to be aware, and you guys to be aware that there's this dude out there that
Interesting.
has ill feelings. So if he's willing to try and blackmail the Tomorrow Legion, what else could he do?
Yeah.
Kind of situation.
Interesting.
But they don't want to get in the way of your current mission or anything.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of deal.
So it's not a recall, it's just a heads up.
Just a, hey, you never know.
And this guy could show up.
Someone
he
from Lambert's
figured out-
past is...
He figured out where home base was.
Yeah.
He might figure out that you guys aren't there and have gone off to do something and cause trouble. That kind of a warning.
Interesting.
Does it say anything about the mercenary, like description or his name? Or...
It doesn't give his name. It's just a guy that, an older gentleman. Like, he's refused to give his name
Okay.
until they arrange for payment, etc.
I was going to start asking all these questions, but I realized that they're not going to be on this
No.
piece of paper. So.
Yeah.
And I'd love to turn to Lambert, but
Yes.
he's not answering.
Yes. If he would even know.
Yeah. Have we noticed that the snore is just a loop? It's just a loop that he's
It's the
playing.
exact same snore every
He got out of the mech, like,
Yeah, he's not even in there.
he wanted to stay down there and wait for the jerky and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
chill.
Have some Slim Jim.
He's having a vacation down there. He just sent the mech along on the trailer, and you guys don't know the wiser. But yeah, that's all that happens there.
Well, that wasn't ominous at all.
No.
No, definitely not.
Totally.
Probably totally
normal.
fine.
Yeah. Nothing to worry about.
Well, it's not something to immediately worry about.
Right. Sounds like that's
Some
the next story
information.
arc.
But you guys continue along. You're making really good time because the highway is actually in pretty good shape.
Okay.
Especially compared to sort of the overland travel that you did to get out here to the East Coast. And even the places where the road is blocked by old vehicles or whatever, there's still lots of room in sort of the median. Because most of I-95 is 2 lanes north, 2 lanes south, and a big grassy bit in the middle,
Right.
kind of a thing. So there's lots of room to maneuver around
Okay.
everything. Let me bring up my map so I'm on track.
Well, that is a bit worse, and that's happening back home. I hate to think of the fellas back at the castle spending their money on Lambert's secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't see there's... I mean, I appreciate the heads up, but I don't see if there's anything we can do about it right now.
No, definitely not. But
We might be able to see if we could go get the money back after we're done here.
that's not a bad idea. I like that. Unless, of course, Lambert deserves it, and then maybe he should work to pay back the castle.
Yeah, maybe Lambert blew up that guy's mother too.
Right? Maybe he did.
That's just his MO.
Serial mother exploder.
He hated his mother, and he'll hate all
All brothers after that.
So after a few days of pretty non-eventful travel, you've seen some signs of, settlement around, but they don't seem to be right near the road, and you haven't been approached or anything. You're coming into a pretty big urban area up ahead. It doesn't look populated, but it looks like it was an old city. And you kind of can consult the maps and stuff that you have and figure out that you're probably coming into Richmond.
Yeah.
Which...
What comedic landmark is marked for Richmond on my map?
I don't know.
What giant cartoony thing is Richmond associated with? Chat, if you know,
Yeah.
let us know.
Let us know what the awesome thing is that's on the map.
If you're from Richmond,
Yes.
what is it that would show up on a map 200 years from now?
Yes.
Yeah, the caricature
Yeah.
cartoon map. I can tell a amusing story about Richmond. That my wife had a relative, and their family was actually, their last name was Yankee. like legitimate Yankee.
Oh man.
From
Right.
Connecticut, 100%.
Wow.
But she married a gentleman that lived in Richmond, Virginia, and moved down there. And then she got a job working as a docent at the Museum of the Confederacy
Oh man.
there.
Okay.
Right. But the best part was her first name was Virginia.
Oh man.
And she kept her last name.
Virginia Yankee working at the
Yes.
Confederate Museum. That's
Yeah.
amazing. That is amazing. That is
When my wife told me the story, and I cried laughing the first time because I was like,
amazing.
"Are you kidding me?" But yeah, 100%
Yeah.
true story.
Yeah, they do.
I was honestly waiting for you to say that she got a job at medieval times,
Yeah.
and she'd be a Connecticut Yankee in King
Yeah,
Arthur's
yeah.
court.
Yeah.
That would have also been.
That's awesome too. That's yes.
So, as you're traveling along the highway, it gets more urban. More lanes kind of build, and it looks like it's been fairly maintained, actually.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell that someone has come through and probably cleared out. There, you see, there's piles of like rusted hulks off to the side, that kind of thing. So someone or something has come through and at least cleared the road for travel from here. And basically, from here north, even on your little caricature map, it's kind of
Sketchy.
It's kind of got the red circle of like, you should be cautious. Basically, from here to Delaware is where they're like, people.
Here be dragons.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Not nice dragons. Yeah.
Sorry. Here be Splugorths.
Yes.
That's fair. Those guys are gross.
Yeah.
Ew. Do not want.
Well, and Here Be Dragons is still intimidating.
Yes.
Like,
Oh yeah.
just like if they didn't know you and you just showed up and are like, I'm hungry. It's a
Like,
bad
hi,
day for them.
what's for lunch?
Yeah.
Oh, you?
You.
Cool.
But you continue traveling farther north. You see there's probably some people that do live in the ruins of here and the suburbs beyond. But nobody seems organized in a way that they're defending themselves. It's more like they just kind of hide out and,
Okay.
and kind of make their way. And they probably think about it kind of like homeless. So they camp wherever they can, and they probably
Just
all
like
have little
squatters.
hidey holes and squatters. Exactly,
Right.
that's the
Okay.
kind of thing. But nobody comes out to give you a hard time. You continue heading on north, and on your map, you know that from here, there's a couple of smaller cities along the way, but the next big stop is Washington.
Okay.
And eventually you get up that direction, and things start getting more urbanized again as you pass into the Northern Virginia area.
And this is really like as far as we know, this is like a no man's land. We don't know that this isn't specifically claimed by the coalition or the federation or
absolutely
anything
not.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Neither one of those have any presence out here
Okay.
that you know
Okay.
of. And as you kind of get to... So just south of Washington on the Virginia side of the border is Alexandria. And that's sort of it's a very old town that, George Washington had a townhouse there, that kind of thing. You get into that area along the highway, and everybody can make a notice check.
Yay!
Yay, notice.
Yay. Eventually I'll remember what this is without asking you. If we don't have notice, it's
Ooh.
A D4,
D4
and your wild
and
die,
then-
-2.
Noticing things.
13 plus 2, 15.
All right.
3.
Your 4 explodes.
Oh yeah.
Yay. 3.
Cool. So
thing
2
Rex notices
3s
stuff.
and a 15. So you guys are like sitting in the cab of the
We're, like,
truck and
talking, but-
listening to the radio and talking to each other, and he's like,
Look, they're down to 23 bottles of beer. This is really, really important because nobody gets to the end.
No.
you see there's some places where it looks like there's some high points on buildings that have clearly been set up in a way to be able to disguise someone, like deer blinds,
Okay.
sort of. You can see, like, on the tops of some of the buildings, it looks like there's spots where there might be scouts. You don't see any scouts, but you see that there's spots where people could be keeping an eye.
All right. Hey, up in the buildings, it looks like there are ambush points that have been set up along the line. I don't see anybody moving around or up there, but we're definitely moving into territory that someone considers worth defending out here. Maybe we should stop, introduce ourselves, wait for people to come out and announce themselves. We don't want to go barging in the middle of someone's territory, especially if they're set up for visitors.
Yeah. No, I agree. We should probably.
So the big question is, from where you are, you kind of have a choice of paths. The main road that you've been following continues to kind of go right into the heart of Washington, across the river. But then it kind of dead ends in the middle of the city, and you have to kind of make your way out of the city to go north again. The other thing that you've all heard of is the Beltway that goes around the greater Washington area, that you're kind of at the crossroads of.
Got it.
So you know that you could make your way around it, and then it meets back up on the other side and continues north, or you could go right into the heart of the city and save distance, but who knows?
Okay, so I have two questions. One is these ambush blinds, these hunting blinds that I can see, do they appear to be normal human-sized?
Good question.
Or do they appear to be on the larger side, the way that the people that we're tracking?
They look like they could hold somebody bigger than an average human.
Okay. And then the other question that I have is the tracks and signs that we've been following, for them, is there any indication which way they went?
You could make a tracking roll.
Okay.
At this point. It's gotten a lot harder to follow them, because it seems like maybe they slowed down some after they got to the East Coast and turned northish.
11.
All right. You're not sure which way that particular group went, but you do see a fair amount of the heavy tracks of those things in some of the asphalt on all the roads here.
Okay.
So it's a safe bet that they're kind of passed through here before in
Okay.
various directions.
Okay. Well, this is then probably either their settlement or some kind of allies. If they seem to be going on a regular basis, they're all over the place here. That being said, at this point, if there's that many tracks, I probably can't tell which ones are which anymore.
Right.
So we don't know.
Like, if you rolled really well, like multiple raises situation, then maybe we could talk, but...
Okay. Wow, 11 wasn't good enough?
Well, it's like if you're trying to find a particular deer in a herd of deer tracks.
No worries.
Yeah.
No worries.
That's
makes
super difficult.
I'm a player. I just want it all my way.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it.
At this point, I mean, we might be here. I don't know. I can't tell which direction our party went. Do we want to try diplomatic relations? Do we want to try and sneak in and see if we can locate Vaughn that way? I'm really wary about walking right in the middle of the city, because if this sort of thing continues, and I point out some of the locations, it's just a giant kill box. They're just going to be set up and be able to take us down without anything else.
Well, especially if they're capable of what we were seeing earlier when we saw them at the castle. That's going to be a problem.
Yeah, we should try and use stealth if at all possible. I doubt they'll be open to a diplomatic solution.
I agree. They had a very specific reason for taking Vaughn, and whatever that is, that they taking him a long, long way. And I don't think just us showing up saying, hey, we'd like our kid back is going to be the solution they are looking for.
Right. And if 4 of them did what they did to the castle, we're not going to be able to face a lot of them.
No, not at all. I mean, there were only 3 at the castle? 2?
Was it 3 total, or was it 4 total? I thought it was... Oh, no, it was 2 in the courtyard and then
And
one...
then the climber.
One,
Yeah.
yeah.
3.
Okay, so 3.
I mean, and the entire castle was not able to defend against it. The 4 of us aren't going to be able to do much, even against the 3 that were at the castle, much less an entire city full of them.
Not without getting some sort of a drop or some sort of advantage on them.
Yeah.
Now, you will, just remembering what people have said about the area, you know that it seems like these things kind of claim this whole area that's kind of from here to Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, like, that 45-mile area is kind of in their sphere of influence.
Got it.
If I get away from some of the confusion of tracks, is there anything specific about the group that we're following that might let me know? Like, for example, is one of them missing a toe, so I know that the 3-toed track is the one I'm tracking. So if I circled around the city and like saw another set of tracks that are going there, would I be able to know that might be the one that we're looking for? Short of Vaughn leaving us any sort of scraps or anything like that.
I'm trying to think if somebody got damaged in some way, but I don't think. I think they had some minor damages, but not like in the feet or legs.
Yeah, the only one that I know was damaged, it blew itself up back at the castle.
Right.
I can think of.
Oh, yeah.
And they're probably not leaking any sort of cybernetic blood.
At least not for like 1,000 miles.
Right.
Like, or they'd probably be dead by now.
Yeah.
They're not dropping trails of Ryan Goslings.
If you want to spend maybe like an hour and kind of travel a little ways on each of the possible roads, you could look for like a pair of tracks that are moving together that
Okay.
might separate themselves from this sort of crossroads traffic here. Like, you could make that attempt if you want,
Okay.
but it'll probably eat up an hour, put you pretty close to evening at that point.
Well, I kind of think that might be our only option here. It's not... we don't know how many of them are in here or if any of them are in here, but I don't want to get into some sort of... this is a big metropolitan area. They could be holed up anywhere, and even if they're in this city.
Yeah.
Which
There
we
could
don't
be a
know.
lot of them in here, and he might not even be in here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that might be, I don't like to delay, but I don't want to throw good time after bad either.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. And
Agreed.
yeah, we should proceed with all caution, I believe.
I mean, I can try to help. I think you're better at tracking than I am, but if we both try, maybe we'll pick something up.
Hey, maybe
Absolutely.
that there might be something you can see from the air that I can't see from the ground, or vice versa. Like, we want to divide and conquer. If you feel comfortable flying Overwatch in this area,
Tiffany, are you able to take any shape or just human shape other than your dragon form?
I think just human shape for now, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
When you grow up, you get more. But
Yeah. Nope. Just these 2 options for now.
Yeah, I thought I'd ask.
well, do you two want to hunker down while I take a look, or do you want to fly overhead, or
Looking at the tops of the buildings, is there any movement that can be seen?
no.
Okay.
Like, he's pointed out kind of where he saw
Yeah.
these setups, but you don't see anybody.
If there's no movement, I could do like a little bit of air reconnaissance, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
yeah? But regardless, I think we should probably get off the main road and,
Yes.
and put
Absolutely.
these trucks under something and,
Yeah, I do not.
and Sleeping Boy over here.
Park him somewhere. Yeah, I do think that we should stick together as much as possible because these things are formidable, and if they get the drop on us, one alone will be easy pickings.
I do not disagree.
All right. So, over the course of the hour, if you both want to make a tracking roll,
Okay.
and that will help inform what happens.
this is my good die tonight.
Nice.
11.
All right.
Ooh. Lots of explodey. Ooh.
Yeah.
2 explodey.
13.
All right.
It's always the worst.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many
I'll
times it
take it.
explodes.
No.
You get that one, and you're like, oh, man.
Aw.
You're like, oh, well, I got 46, but it could have been 50.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly what it is.
you kind of on foot explore the route that leads farther into the city a little bit, and she'll kind of scout out the Beltway route.
And my plan is definitely stay low, use all cover,
Totally,
just
yeah,
trying to move through the city as inobtrusively as possible.
I get you guys are trying to be totally cautious.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to be a jerk that's like, ha ha, you get sniped from a mile away and you have no idea who shot you. Because he only shot
Boom!
once. Yeah.
Can I get a check on Lambert's gun?
Yeah.
Amazing. So, excuse me. The road into the city, what you kind of see is it looks like there's a fair amount of them that come crunching through here. It doesn't look like there's a set of 2 together fresh tracks going into the city. But you get the idea that this is sort of like the southern border of their territory, so they probably run patrols through here pretty often.
It's more like a staging area than a settlement.
Yeah, it's less like it's like it's not like in the city there's just hundreds of them wandering around or anything, but it's more like this is sort of the edge of their territory, so they probably come through here fairly often, but at the moment you don't see a bunch or anything. From the air, flying along the other route, you see that just a little bit to the east of you, there's a big bridge that looks like it mostly collapsed at one point.
Okay.
But it looks like someone has come and built sort of a new bridge on top of the remains of the old pylons that are kind of still in the water. And that crosses across the Potomac River at that point. And then you see... It's hard. You're not looking at the tracks on the ground.
Yeah.
But it looks like there at least has been some traffic headed up to the north. Also, with altitude, you see up in the north from here, you see that there is some like some smoke, like some settlements probably to the north that are active.
Okay.
So not right across the river like in the city, but farther north.
Further north. Okay. Okay. So we'll radio that back to the group. So on the east side, that's not through the city, right? It's like before. Okay.
Yeah, I figured like you'd probably patrol the Beltway area because you could kind of get a better view in both directions. So that goes around the city.
Cool. So to the east of the city on this beltway or whatever, it looks like there's a bridge across some water. And to the north, I can see some smoke. Looks like maybe there's some active settlements, maybe activity up that direction. But I don't see any movement in the city.
All right. Well, let's be careful regardless.
Yeah.
Any signs of the ones we're following?
I'm guessing it's kind of hard to see from how far up I am.
Yeah, you don't like your kind of tracking is more like looking for the clues from a distance versus looking at footprints kind of a thing. So you don't exactly have an exact.
Yeah. Not as far as I can tell. Just that. It looks like the activity is more towards the north. I'm guessing if they were taking Vaughn to their base or whatever, we'd be able to see some activity where that was.
Well, I guess let's try and head that direction and keep out of sight and keep going.
Does the bridge look big, like able to support our
Yeah,
vehicles?
it
Okay.
looks pretty sturdy. Like a fair amount of like steel plates
Okay.
that look like they've been fairly well welded together and stuff to get across. So I don't think you'd have a hard time.
So I guess our big question is that we think they're going to keep him in the city where it seems less populated, or are they going to take him to their base camp where they have more bodies?
Well, according to the map, this seems to be the south end of their territory. It seems unlikely if they kidnapped him for some purpose that the lab or holding facility or whatever they want him for is going to be here. It's probably going to be closer to where they've got more people.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
Yeah, I mean, where would we keep somebody? We would take them back to the castle. We wouldn't keep them in like a shack on the edge of Tomorrow Legion
Yeah.
property.
I suppose that might also be, like, we have to think about why we think they took him. If they are hoping that he's able to invent things for stuff for them, if we can look for something that looks like a more utilitarian place where they might be creating things, building stuff,
Yeah.
then, I mean, that's just us, guessing at this point. So we're not sure, but I can't think of another reason they would take the boy.
If they were going to eat him, they would have done that already.
Yes, that is very true.
Well, and they would have they had plenty of opportunity
Yeah.
to grab other people
We've got a lot
in the
larger
courtyard.
people to eat,
There was no
too.
reason, and they passed up other kids. It's not like they've got a dietary restriction or anything.
Weird.
Robot Ventru. We can only eat little kids whose names start with a V.
I'm so hungry.
But as we're getting closer and as we're moving through, we should keep an eye out for buildings like that. That it seems.
Oh, yeah.
Because that may be one reason that they wouldn't take him to a super populated area if they have a building place where they put together their equipment and their guns and such things. This probably wouldn't be right in the middle of their settlement.
Possibly not.
At this point, I feel like we kind of have a choice here. If we continue along these roads, and this is a main patrol route, we probably increase our chances of being discovered.
Yes.
But if we ditch the vehicles and hide them somewhere, we're reducing our own mobility to get in and out as well.
Yeah, well, with how fast we saw that they can move on their creatures, I'm not sure the truck would be much help getting out anyway, to be completely honest. They are quite fast. So I think hiding and sneaking may be our best bet. Because that truck, especially with the glitter boy on the back, is not going to outrun one of those creatures.
No.
No, definitely not.
No. I mean, not to be indelicate, Tiffany, but I think that your flight might be the only way out in that particular situation.
Out of curiosity, can you lift him while you're
How
while
much
you're in your
does Lambert's
form?
thing weigh?
That's a good question.
I know I could pick up the truck
You
with
pick up the truck one
Arabella
point.
in
Yeah.
it, so... But I'm not sure how much the glitter boy armor weighs.
Right.
It's pretty big.
Yeah.
I'll take Rift Minutia for $300.
Please.
Well, I certainly don't think you could carry the whole party.
Yeah,
Like,
that's...
if they climbed on your
it would-
back
it would
and then
pro-
you
I could
tried
probably
to grab
carry
on,
them or Lambert.
or you could carry Lambert sans armor easily. The three
Yeah.
of them easily, no problem.
Right. But it's the armor that I was
Just his
worried
armor
about.
is pretty monstrous.
Yeah.
Um,
12 feet and all that stuff.
I don't know if it gives a weight. But I'm
I feel like
going to
that's a
go with
reasonable
no.
call, yeah.
Okay.
You probably can't. You might be able to lift it, but not really take off and fly with
Yeah,
it.
definitely not everyone in the armor.
Yeah.
Okay,
no.
that's what I was thinking.
But,
Well, that limits our options.
yes. Well,
We might
but
want
I-
a truck for Lambert.
Well, like in his armor, he can move along pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not super slow. He's just not super subtle.
Right.
Right.
I feel like if we're
running from
retreating
them,
anyway, we're not going to be super
Subtlety
subtle
is
about
not
it.
going to be
Yeah.
the thing. Yeah.
So, And I think if we're in that situation, again, I don't think retreat is really going to be much of an option against these particular foes. So I think we need to go in prepared that going back ain't an option. As cheerful as that is. And by that I mean it's not cheerful at all.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
unclear.
Yeah, I was thinking, yeah. You're getting better with the sarcasm, but I thought I'd explain it just in case.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So, are we going on foot then? I mean, the bridge looks like it will support the vehicles,
Yeah, easily.
and
Nothing.
there's no one around for now.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but if they're scouts that are worth their salt, we're not going to know they're around until suddenly they're all around us.
Right.
That's true.
And I think we are.
And besides, if we get caught in the middle of someplace that isn't industrial, it's going to be harder to hide the trucks, hide the buggy in the truck, where they're not going to be able to be spotted right away.
Yeah.
I want to look around then for like a garage or something that someplace we can store the vehicles where they won't be immediately obvious, and that gives us kind of access, that they can handle.
Sure.
Like if we need to just light out on them, I want them prepped and ready.
It's actually super easy to find somewhere like that because it's along a major highway in the old United States. So there's garages and mechanics and gas stations with roll-up doors and all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
Okay.
So it's really easy to find something that
Jen-
you can.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no.
Jen Human in the chat room says, per Palladium books, the Glitter Boy weighs 1.2 tons fully loaded.
That's pretty heavy.
Yeah, he says he doesn't know if it's the same in Savage Rifts, but that's what it is.
Right.
in
Yeah.
actual,
So we'll still go with no.
Yeah.
What does D12 plus 4 get you? Isn't there a mega? Actually, isn't there the mega strength chart?
There absolutely is, but it's not that much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this kind of came up once before with the discussion of
Oh, lifting the buggy over.
lifting the buggy with everybody in it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was like right on the border
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
Fair
Like
enough.
I did it, but I wouldn't have been able to like fly very far,
No.
I would guess.
Yeah, it's one of those like you can lift a lot,
Yeah.
but like carry and run around and
Yeah.
fly that gets
Yeah.
a little fishy.
Fair enough.
But for sure. So you can totally stash the truck and the thing in this, like an old 76 station, or
Okay.
kind of with a. They've still got the weird. They never seem to degrade vinyl banners outside that talk about smog check and that kind of stuff. But it's easy enough for you guys to jimmy the little rudimentary lock and roll up a door and pull the buggy and the truck in side
Okay.
by side. And it's even one of those with like the doors on both sides, so like somebody could pull in
Nice.
over the
Over
lift
the right.
and then pull out the other side.
Cool.
Nice.
So you could totally have that all set, no problem.
Okay.
It's something like Dead Rain Moan from yesterday. I'm like, I search the thing. I take anything that's worth. Is there any food left? It's the zombie apocalypse. No, sorry. We're probably well fashioned enough that we don't probably.
There's
need
half a
to-
bag of corn nuts. You don't know how long it's been sitting there. Great. I'll take
Doesn't
them.
matter.
Corn nuts never go bad.
Ah.
You now have 6 broken teeth.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess moving as stealthy as possible.
Sure. You guys gonna head over the bridge, or
Is there any
the
other
city.
way across the river?
you could swim
Swim?
or wade?
Well, like how deep is the river?
It's a big river.
Okay.
Like, it's a significant river.
Okay.
So
So there's definitely parts that we would have to swim, not wade.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I feel like they're going to be watching that bridge, like, as we're going to have to balance, like, whether that's the most time efficient thing with the fact that they're probably watching it and knowing that it's a choke point.
There is the other way around that you haven't scouted you've only scouted a little ways in each direction.
Right.
Yeah.
The other way around doesn't seem to have a bridge immediately apparent.
Well,
But just looking at your map, this way is faster. Like, this arc gets you around quicker than going all the way around the city the other side.
Right.
No. And you said you weren't seeing anyone over here?
I didn't see any movement when I was scouting,
No.
right? No?
Are you smelling that thing? No,
No, nothing.
don't know if Vaughn has the time for us to be persnickety about these things.
I say we go on the bridge.
I mean, it wouldn't take you that long to swim if that's what you want to try and do. Like,
Do glitter boys float?
I just feel like you really wanted to get us into the water for some reason.
I know.
No.
Like, oh God, does he want to get us to the bridge? Oh God, maybe he wants us in the water. Oh my God, where's the death?
I'm really not trying to be
No,
weird
no,
about it.
I know. But
Like,
but from our perspective, it's like which way does Dave want to get
I
us?
have happily presented you with a bunch of bad options.
Yes, exactly.
So take your pick.
We're looking for the good option, not the bad options.
I say
You know that his glitter boy armor is environmentally sealed, so he could, in theory, wade across the bottom of the river and come out the other side.
I feel he's gonna really love that option.
Just on a meta level, on a player level, is he just on autopilot following around behind us, or we could
Yeah.
stash him somewhere if we wanted to and say stay here and guard the trucks?
Absolutely.
But whatever.
But
But he's not going to take. He's
not
really
going to
gonna
do
take any
anything.
actions.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Like, if you get into a huge firefight, I'll have him shoot at stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that,
Okay.
Okay. I could fly across the bridge and see if there's anybody on the other side.
That's a good idea.
That's a great idea.
And
Yeah.
then if there's not, you guys could just walk across the bridge
Yeah,
instead of
could-
swimming.
Could you cover us from the air? That'd
Yeah.
be super helpful. Excellent. I like that plan.
Okay.
It's the best of the bad
I will
options.
fly ahead and look.
so you can make a notice roll.
Okay.
Roll high, roll high, roll high.
Don't tell me what to do.
Okay.
I guess I could make a notice roll for
Be
you.
yourself. Be yourself.
Roll however you feel. Express yourself appropriately through your roll.
It can be fun either way.
I got a
Alright, there you
5.
All right.
I noticed maybe something.
Averagely
respectable.
noticey.
Cool.
So you don't see any activity here. That's not to say there's nobody hiding out because I mean it's still fairly dense buildings and stuff, but there's certainly not like a group of armed enemies on the other side of the bridge just waiting.
Okay.
Like you're able to kind of see
Yes.
where the bridge gets off the other side, and
Yeah.
there's nobody right around there.
I still don't see anybody. You're probably fine to walk across the bridge.
All right.
I
And,
will
like you've
keep
kind
looking.
of seen how far that gun can shoot, so there's clearly nobody within range to be shooting you on the bridge.
Okay.
Like unless they're in the water, like waiting
Right.
to shoot upward or something.
You're saying don't go in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they've wired the bridge for explosives and they just have to hit a button.
Yeah.
But you know.
So it's just a tripwire. Like
Hashtag just paranoid things.
yeah.
Just keep throwing those ideas.
Yeah.
Love them,
Yeah. You bet.
for sure.
I'll cover you guys from up here if you want to.
I will totes not run away if you guys die.
All right. Let's move.
All right.
I don't know about you guys, but I have some stealth. I might be able to get away.
Yeah, I'm a little stealthy, surprisingly, for
So
being
you can
a
fly, you
30-foot
can
dragon.
stealth, and I'm fucked. I have a
You
glow
got-
sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a glow sword.
Go me. That'll be great.
And, a
Hey, and
fancy
psychic
name I can't
armor.
remember.
And psychic
and
armor.
like
Yeah.
double psychic armor.
Not so great with like the getting of the way though. All right.
But you're just human sized.
Yeah, that's true.
You're not like 15 feet tall and shiny blue,
That's true.
so you attract automatically less attention.
That's true.
It's true.
I like this. All right. All right. Yeah. So we go across the bridge. I'm gonna be quick, not necessarily try and be stealth. Like, I'm gonna be appropriately like
You're not attempting to make a stealth kind of roll.
right.
But you're not.
I'm not like sprinting. Like I'm like okay. I'm gonna cautiously, carefully go across.
And you can kind of make your way from like support beam to
Yeah.
support beam. And totally fine.
Yeah.
You guys, are you going together across the bridge, or is like one of you going first, or?
I think I think we should advance and cover.
All right.
So we'll send like one or two people, and then the
There's
third
just
person
two of
will.
us.
The third person. Well,
Oh,
Lambert.
glitter boy.
Lambert's
Yes, I
behind
forgot.
us.
Sure.
clang, clang,
Yeah.
clang. So the stealth option is kind of out on the
completely
metal
out.
bridge.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. He's so quiet today.
He's not soft shoey.
No.
So, for sure.
He's still snoring, just clang.
Maybe we
He
should.
just set the armor to follow you.
Yeah. I hate that.
Sleepwalk.
Follow quick.
Yeah.
So just be careful. Don't like run around a bush.
Yeah.
Because then it'll just get
Yeah.
stuck.
Run into it over and over again. Oh my god. God. All right. Perhaps we should get across first, and then we'll send Lambert, because I feel like if something's going to draw attention, it's going to be Lambert,
Good plan.
and then at least we'll be over there to help cover him or such
Sure.
things.
So we do that.
You guys hustle across.
And then we watch him wait while Lambert comes across.
You get to the other side. You find a building that you can kind of huddle up against. Lambert comes marching across the bridge. Like, he doesn't even bother to try and take cover because there's nothing taller than him on the bridge to hide behind. So he's just...
Yeah.
And he gets to the
Singing
other side
O
of the
Canada.
bridge. Yeah, on the loudspeaker.
Yeah.
Our home and native land. But he arrives on the other side of the bridge, and it doesn't look like anybody shot him.
Yeah.
And no
All right.
kraken came from the deep to
Cool.
consume him either.
Excellent.
Sweet. Awesome.
This time,
I'm not going to say that every body of water is always safe, but this one seemed okay.
Now that we're over it and okay. All right. Do we see any cover? Like looking around where we are now, what do we see as far as like buildings and
The
roads?
highway itself continues on, and it goes between what looks like not dense urban kind of buildings, but like sort of dense suburban buildings
Okay.
around. So more like Pasadena or Glendale than Pomona
Okay. That makes sense.
in your mind.
Okay.
I think we should probably stay off of the immediate road, especially if they consider this to be their territory. It's likely that they'll use that as a method of getting through. It's going to cut down our travel time, but if we go west 100 yards and parallel the road that way, it'll keep us out of the immediate vicinity.
Yeah, I agree. We should stay within eyeshot of it because we can at least keep our location generally about from that. But we should definitely stay off the roads. Absolutely. You know, wave down, Tiffany.
I can hear you because
Oh, yeah,
we
that's
have
right.
the intercom.
Yeah.
I'll
I used to wave at you.
oh yeah, I just waved back
Yeah.
at
Like,
you.
Good job!
Tiffany's like, why are you waving those flags?
Tiffany, you probably should come down because I think you're probably going to start tracking attention soon.
Oh, I could scout from up here though,
If you want to? Sure. Yeah.
and tell you if I see anyone.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Seems like less attention than me dragoning through the streets next to the road.
Well, dragon him. Yes, that was yeah.
Yeah,
If you want to stay in dragon form, then being up there is definitely the better choice. Yes.
yeah.
All right. Excellent.
I prefer to be prepared in case of battle.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So you guys get off the main highway a little ways, but you sort of shadow it, keep it on your left,
Right.
you know, as you're going along.
I mean, correct.
Right or left, 6 of 1, half a dozen.
Right.
You see some remains of what looks like there was probably some people that lived here at some point, but they've been forcibly evicted. There's some buildings that look like they've been blown apart and collapsed in some cases. It looks like there's maybe like what was like a gathering square or a market that you kind of pass by that just is abandoned. So it's, you know, some shoddy stalls that were kind of cobbled together, but nobody's there. From the sky, up ahead, you see that there's sort of a big, clear field. Like just a big, wide open space. Whereas there's been lots of buildings up to this point.
Yeah.
Up in the distance, you see that there's just a really large area with no buildings.
Are there any like lights or smoke or anything?
There's not smoke.
Is it like the buildings were deliberately cleared, or there have never been buildings there? in the first place?
It looks more like there's not buildings there on purpose,
Okay.
kind of a thing. But up right, basically it's almost like buildings go right up to this edge, and then there's just this big open field space.
Are there any?
And then there's buildings on the far side of the field.
There's no. Are there any markings on it or anything?
How close do you want to get? Because you're still a ways off.
Yeah.
Like you just kind of see that there's this flat space with no buildings.
We're like super paranoid tonight. We're like, oh god, I see far away. Oh god.
I mean,
Well, part of it is we
Tiffany's
don't have the
great.
big gun,
I'll get
Yeah.
closer.
so
I'll get closer so I can see like if it has any features or like.
Or do you have curious as a
Yeah.
hindrance? Excellent. That counterbalances my cautious.
Ooh, what's that?
No, stay back.
So you do fly farther.
Okay.
And you see, actually, as you kind of get the last set of buildings before the empty space are big.
Okay.
Like there's some large, big buildings. And then
I think I know what it is, but I don't
Yeah.
think Rex knows what it is.
No.
and then there's just a big open field, like I said, with some really long roads that kind of run from one end of the field to the other.
Okay.
And they have the roads have some things painted on them.
Weird.
Like
But I
some
don't
big
see
numbers.
anyone.
Because you can read, so there's some big numbers.
Numbers. Okay.
Yeah.
So
You don't see anybody out on the field,
no one on the field.
and it's getting into evening at this point.
Yeah.
So like it's getting darker.
I'll fly back closer to where they are. So there's a weird thing up ahead. There's like a big area with no buildings on it, but there's roads, like smaller than a car roads, right? Or are
No,
they
bigger.
Bigger. Oh, bigger than a car roads.
Like absolutely as big as the highway you've been following.
Okay.
Or
And
bigger.
with numbers on them.
That's very strange.
Isn't that weird? Why would you number your roads?
That's very strange.
Put them all in a field together.
Yeah, I don't. Only fools would number roads. That seems like a very inefficient.
It's just a
way to
road
go.
storage field. Yeah. That's where you put them before you need to place
Where
them.
they store their roads. There wasn't anybody around it.
Interesting. Were the numbers like? Did it say like? Did it mean something at all?
Were there any buildings around those roads or spurs off of those roads?
Yeah,
that,
there
that
was
did go to
the
like
big- yeah, the
big
go to some
buildings.
buildings?
The big one, particularly large ones next to the field, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna make a history check.
The chat room has guesses about what it is, but I'm not gonna say.
I'm curious as to what the guys say.
Here, we'll do this thing first.
Sure.
Well, that's only a 3, so
What does the chat room say?
yeah,
They're like, is it the National Mall?
Oh.
that's what I thought
Maybe
at
you
first.
think it is.
Yes, but
Maybe you think
oh
it
yes,
is.
exactly. That's what I think it
You
is.
think it is
yeah.
the National
Yeah.
Mall?
Thanks, chat room.
Good job, Master Fitter.
Back in the times that we're coming up on the city that used to be the capital of everything in these here parts. And I don't know why I just got Southern there for a second, but
My good influence.
It's easy to just adopt.
It is.
Yeah.
It's the most. At least
it's
for Americans.
yes, it's default
Yeah,
accent.
it's the glitter of accents. It just gets everywhere and sticks, and you can't get rid of it.
And there was a place for the monuments to how great the nation was before it fell, and I think this might be what they called the National Mall.
Oh, and they numbered the monuments. Is that why there's big numbers on the ground?
Well, it could be. I mean, maybe it certainly would make it easier for like a tour guide or a docent to walk through and be able
That's
to like,
true.
oh, here you are.
This is number.
This is Monument 11.
Yeah. Please try, open up your books to Monument 11 and.
Yeah, they were very obsessed with numbers in the past. I know that you would call someone with numbers.
Well, yeah, and a lot of these roads are. I mean, the road we're on was numbered.
Yeah.
Didn't really have a name, but
You have seen lots of
strange.
signs that say 95.
Right.
Yeah.
so I think it's just part of the character, part of
It makes me wonder what happened to the
Part
other
of land that
94
was.
roads, though. I mean, very strange. They had so many
that
roads.
one doesn't look so good.
That's true. Yeah. But really, I mean, that's a lot of roads. But,
Yeah.
all right, well, it's good to know we're in a historical location. Thank you for
Yeah,
your
you know,
knowledge.
if we should probably make sure that we try and avoid any collateral damage here, because there's probably
Yeah.
still a lot of really good things to learn from.
Absolutely. Yes. All right, well, did it look like... It's the best thing on this game.
I love this.
Misinterpretation of history. We're so knowledgeable. We're like the wisest people ever. And did it look like there was any like reason to head that direction? Did it look like? I mean, you said they were big. Did you say they were big buildings?
There's some there's some large buildings kind of around.
It's kind of in the way of the direction you're going.
Yeah.
So, like,
Did it look like they might be building stuff in those big buildings?
What kind of buildings do they look like?
they were big. Like, they could
Large?
be... You didn't see any signs of industry in the
Okay.
buildings or anything, but they are clearly big enough that something could be built inside, yeah.
All right.
They had some big, giant doors on
Yeah.
the front sides of them, and they're very large.
Hey, how high did the numbers go?
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good question.
I'm asking because it occurs to me that they were very good about numbering their presidents.
Oh.
And maybe each of those roads leads to a monument to one of the presidents.
Yeah, that
There were
makes
just
sense.
2 sets of big roads.
2 sets of big roads?
Yeah. 1-1 and 1-2.
There were only 2.
Did
I'm
they
pretty
have,
sure they had more than 2 presidents, right?
Yeah.
Did they? Oh, all right. That's ridiculous. Why would you want more than 2 presidents? Like, doesn't that confuse them at the same
Well,
time?
I don't mean at the same time.
Oh, all right. Well.
Although
Gotcha.
maybe, I mean, I
Okay.
heard tell about some monument. They have 4 big heads up on a rock. Maybe they were up all at the same time.
Interesting.
I mean, you got 95 roads.
That's true. I guess if you
One
have
president
95
enough?
roads, yeah, you'd want 4 presidents to split up the roads and taking care of the roads, maybe? I don't know.
That doesn't split evenly.
No, that does not.
Well,
maybe
wait,
one of them was more greedy. I mean,
or it could be that there's more than 95 roads. Maybe it does split evenly.
yeah, maybe we're just on
95,
95, and there's
maybe,
more
maybe
that
it
we
goes up
haven't
to
found
100.
yet.
Each president was in charge of
Haven't
4
flown
different.
over
Each president was in charge of 25 roads.
the road. So, you did see that the roads don't seem to connect to anything. You saw where they end on both sides.
Okay.
The best thing is, like, we all know what it is.
Oh, yeah.
And we're just like,
Awesome.
no, I don't know what it is. Did you see any words other than the numbers? Were there any like names? Like he was saying the president names?
Not that
No.
you saw from the air.
Alright.
Like, you didn't get down on the ground to look
No,
Oh,
at the
I
buildings
just
or
flew
anything.
near it. No.
All right. Well,
Buildings, 2 roads, don't go anywhere. Big open space.
perhaps we should avoid the big open space. But if there was enough
Agreed.
cover along those big buildings on the sides,
We could go on the side of the big open
Yeah.
space.
No, I think
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we will head that direction.
All right.
I mean, we will head that direction.
You keep on trucking.
It's glitter. I swear to God, it sticks and it stays.
I actually run into the problem, like, whenever I hang out with a friend of mine that lives in this area, especially if his mom is around, I pick up the Mid-Atlantic
Oh yeah,
deal, and it's, yeah.
it sticks.
And then I come home and my wife's like,
Suddenly Dave's talking like a newsreel.
Yeah.
no, it's weird. Like, you know what I'm talking about. The Baltimore-y kind of,
Oh. Yeah.
that like the long O's sort of sound.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Somehow I was the only person in my family that was immune to it.
But you're aware of what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, most of my family has
Yeah.
that accent. I just managed to go
Internet,
without it.
if you want to know what I'm talking about, watch The Wire.
Yeah.
Yes.
You will totally, like, any of the weird side, not the main actors, but all the other side characters,
Yeah.
those are the ones. Because the main actors, they just, the British dude that was being American, yeah.
Nah, that never really. Well, sometimes it works really well, but
Oh,
again, if
No,
they're
he
Southern, they nail it.
sounded great American.
Yeah.
He didn't sound Baltimore-y.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
a very specific.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, you continue along and you kind of make your way between some buildings and on some minor side streets and that kind of thing, and you get up to a point, and up in front of you there is a pretty significant steel fence along, and along the road that leads into the area with these big buildings, there's still a sign that says Andrews Air Force Base.
I think,
And then from here, even through the fence, you can see the big open space that you were talking about.
I don't know. Do we know what an Air Force base is?
I'm probably still in the air. What is it?
Some kind of a base that belonged to a guy named Andrew.
Oh. We should ask him why he only has
They-
2 roads.
They didn't have a good apostrophe there, though. It might have fallen off.
Yeah. Well, we don't know anything about it, but we know apostrophes.
Grammar is important.
That knowledge.
I
has
still write.
survived.
I still read.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the difference between possessive and plural. Come on.
He must have been one of them presidents. Maybe this is like his monument to the whole thing, like a big empty space.
Oh, could be, yeah.
I could see if there were this many buildings around, having an empty space would be a big deal.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would certainly mark how important you were.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, out of the space I can waste. Yes.
Right.
I'm a very important person.
Presidents seem like jerks,
Yeah, they do kind of.
wasting all this space.
Yeah. Although it's like, I mean, it's protected. They obviously wanted it to be safe. They didn't want anybody in there. That big fence.
Oh, good job. I mean, I can fly right in there. So
Right. But I don't know if they knew about dragons then. So
idiots.
I don't know. Although it's Air Force, they had some sort of force in the air.
In the air, I would think,
So
yeah.
maybe they did have dragons. I
So
can see that.
maybe that's exactly why you can go over the fence.
Only you can get over the
Because
fence.
only
Only for
for
dragons.
air.
Only dragons. That must be
Oh.
what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe there's more dragons in there.
It's a dragon
possible.
preserve.
It's a dragon park. We have deer parks in England, and we have dragon parks. And what is the remnant of the United States?
Well, are you sensing any other dragons? I know that you can,
Oh
get
yeah, I'm
kind
not
of,
getting that dragon aggro, am I? No. I
You're
don't-
getting no whiff of other dragon.
If there were dragons here, they're not here right now.
Well, do we want to try and hole up here for the night, or maybe in one of these other buildings? You said it was getting on
Yeah, it is.
pretty
Like,
dark.
the sun has set. It's
Right.
still that twilight bit of light out, but
Yeah. Perhaps getting in that fence might be a good, I mean, at least with that, we'd be able to see at least from one direction if anything was coming in
True,
that big
and
empty
if it's-
space.
As long as there's not something in here, if it's still standing, that will give us a measure of protection as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tiffany, do you mind lifting us over?
Nope. One at a time, though. I'm not gonna.
Sure.
I mean, how tall is it?
the fence?
Yeah.
Probably 15 feet.
I mean, is it like chain link? Is it, did you see what it was?
No, it's pretty like strong steel fence. So like she could probably go up and just like Hulk rip open the fence if you want.
Well, maybe that's, I mean, that would give
But
us
it
a way
wouldn't
out.
be easy to scale. Like you'd have to try and make a roll to climb it.
I'm just thinking if it's already here, that's a defensive emplacement
Yeah,
for
that's
us.
true.
And if we just rip through it or have Lambert blow a hole in it, that defeats the purpose of
Yeah.
having
Then
a
there's
fence
a
here.
hole that people can
That
get
is
in.
true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can lift you guys over, and then
Yeah.
if we need to Hulk out of it, I could do that.
Like you could, since you're not like dealing with a vehicle, you could like grab one in each hand and fly over the.
Okay.
Yeah, that's totally a doable thing.
Yeah, let's do that.
True story, my high school put up like a giant steel fence, like 12 feet high. It was the exact right size for me to wedge my tennis shoes in, and I could literally just
walk
climb
right
up.
up the fence. It was amazing. Oh my god. Oh my god. The assistant principal, because I got locked out one day because I stayed for drama and all these things, and I'd forgotten something. But the assistant principal comes out and sees me doing that. He was just like, "We just built that. Do you know how much money we spent on that?" I was like, "Yep," because my mom works here and she told me. He was just like,
Should maybe have thought about that and the size of, shoes.
teenage people's feet. It's pretty amazing.
At my high school, it wasn't like that, it was brick walls, but they had a planter right next to one of them in the corner that literally cut it down to like 4 feet tall, so you could hop onto the planter and then just hop right over the
over,
fence,
yeah.
and it was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. Good planning.
yeah,
Teachers are smart.
good.
Actually, teachers have nothing to do with this.
Oh, no,
things,
no,
so
I
it's
know,
like, yeah.
I know. It was entirely someone who was like, oh,
I
This
work
would
for
look
the
nice
city.
if there was a plan.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a planter right here, that'd be great, except that became the ditch corner.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
All right.
So you fly over. Are you going to
So
go
I think
to one of the
Lambert,
buildings?
because you said it was, 12, 15 feet tall, so he just sort of
Yeah.
grabs hold, pushes
You
himself
know
up,
what?
and
I'll even,
flumps over.
he totally just kicks on the jetpack.
Ah, there you
Yeah.
Kind of
go. Nice.
lands on the other side ungracefully, but manages to keep himself together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I want to check out one of the. There's buildings in here, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I want to go in one.
sure. So you go up to the front of one of these large buildings, and it looks like it's got a door that is most of the front of this really wide building. Like, if you stretch your wings out all the way in both directions, you can't touch the ends of the building.
Sweet, dragon size.
Yeah, totally, yeah. But you can get up to the door, and it looks like it's locked in some way, but you could force it open if you want.
I'm super
Or-
gonna.
Do the thing.
So, it's not even a roll, because
Is Andrew a dragon name historically? Do you know?
No, it doesn't sound like any dragon name I've heard.
All right, maybe it's a nickname.
Yeah, I mean, Tiffany's not my real name.
Yeah.
Mother just couldn't really pronounce my name.
I could see that. If the humans are trying to build something for dragons, we have problems a little bit with some of your names.
Yeah, I mean, some of your names are kind of hard too.
Yeah. Some are harder than others.
Continuity.
Yes.
so you get up to the door and you claw it down the middle of the seam, and you kind of can pull it open, and it kind of makes an unholy racket when you open the door, because clearly it's a metal door and it's really
I
rusty.
probably
And
stop like halfway through, look embarrassed, and then like keep like skirt.
like, do you want to try and open it all the way, or just enough that you could like get human-sized people through?
Enough that like, yeah, I could get a human-sized person through.
All right.
I mean, it'd be better if I could get me through it, but
Well,
I can go into human form if I'd have to.
you tell me, like, how big opening do you want to make? Do you want to make a 3-foot opening for people to easily pass through, or do you want to make a 10-foot opening for you to easily pass through?
Second one.
Yeah.
Sure. It's like, and
I flip around and I'm just looking out on the field in case anyone is.
there's nobody out on the field that you can see. Inside,
I had that like mom look like, oh, I probably should have like prefaced that with a little more information. Oh, it's too late now. Okay, we're gonna go with it.
but inside there is a set of vehicles. Well, I mean, they look like airplanes. Like you have a concept of those. Like you've seen the techno wizards
yeah.
making those things and the idea. So it looks like there's maybe 5 smallish looking airplanes, and then in the back there's one big airplane,
Ooh.
like bigger than you in a dragon form.
I'm gonna go look at that one.
You run over there. You can't really fly inside, it's not that
No.
tall, but you kind of pad between some of the smaller ones and kind of tuck yourself in and wedge by. You get over the giant airplane, and it's a big airplane.
Neat. I'm gonna climb on it.
On a player standpoint, like 747 big.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
And the ones in the front are F-15 size.
Okay.
I like standing on the top of it, like spreading out my wings to see if it's bigger than me.
It is actually bigger than me.
You guys, this one's totally bigger than me.
But as you climb up on it, the tires pop because they're ancient, like, and so like the thing kind of crunches down a little bit. Probably the only reason why they didn't degrade a long time ago and just disintegrate to nothing is the fact that they've been sealed in this building.
No dragons
Oh,
Oh,
were
good.
standing
We've
on
exposed
them.
everything to them. I'll take a look at one of the smaller planes
Sure.
and just go over it. Not so much that I think I'm going to be able to do anything with it, but Rex wants to look at the markings, see if he can figure out historically what this is, where it would belong to, get more information about this thing.
It is absolutely a United States Air Force F-15. Like, it still has armament on it. Like, this would be part of a group of planes that was ready to do air patrol
Right.
kind of thing, or escort duty for the larger plane behind, because that's what they keep here. So... But, yeah, I mean, the batteries are dead. You can't start it. You can't boot up any of the electronics inside.
While they're climbing on stuff, I'm like watching out from the big thing, like with cover, but like just like surveying the big empty field and just making sure we're cool.
Out of
Looks okay.
I'm just kind of like, oh god, kids and their toys.
I want to see if I can figure out how to hook up the fuel rods from the floating thing that I salvaged into the batteries for one of these things. I have engineering.
I mean, you can make a roll, man. Let's see. It's going to be super hard. Like,
Oh, sure.
completely incompatible technologically speaking.
I don't know how this pen works.
All right, only 7.
You don't see
I was
a
hoping
port-
that was going to explode and go.
But you don't see a place where you could really like wire it in. I mean, mechanically speaking, it's difficult to even figure out where you'd look for the electrical system in this plane.
Right, because it's so ancient compared to anything that I'm used to looking at.
A, it's so ancient, and B, it's stupid complicated. Like, the amount of different little bits and bobs everywhere.
That might be me.
Were you shaking your leg?
Yeah.
Ah!
Sorry,
okay.
it's squeaking. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
No, I was totally like...
Note to self: do that when we're playing a spooky game.
Well, like, I think probably because the door was closed. Like, the sound sounded to me like it was coming from over there, and I'm like, nobody's over there. I'm just going to keep looking this direction. You guys tell me if a big
The
monster
squeaking
comes
is
to kill
coming
me.
from inside the house.
Yeah.
Well,
So yeah, you don't see a way that you can do that.
okay, but Rex still finds all this fascinating because this is kind of history.
Absolutely.
History. This is like a perfectly preserved monument to the ancient ways.
Absolutely. And
So he's happier than a kid in a candy factory.
so
I
you
think
can
like
fiddle around with it.
he's like looking at like technical manuals and he's reading all that stuff and is probably shoving a couple of those into his bag for later.
Totally.
Excellent.
And I'm basically using it as a jungle gym.
Dude, he's jumping up and
Climbing
down.
on stuff.
Like now there's all these claw marks in the aluminum. Like just but yeah, it doesn't seem like there's anything that's come running because of the noise. You've got cover on 3 sides, 3 3/4 sides from the building, so you feel pretty safe. You can.
Well, seems like this is a safe enough place to hole up for the night.
Yeah.
You guys set up a watch of some kind, I'm assuming.
I'll take one
Lambert,
first watch.
Lambert is happy to take an extra long shift. Because he slept most of the day on
Right.
the way here, so it's fine.
Again.
The night passes pretty uneventfully. At one point, you do hear some noise, but it's coming from the north, in the direction where the main highway was that you were sort of shadowing.
Mm-hmm.
So you think that something probably passed by along the road. But you didn't. I mean, does anybody want to go out and...
If it happened on or around my watch, I think I would try and track it with binoculars or something. See if I can see what that was.
You don't have a real good eyeball view of the road, but it sounded like what you'd assume at least several of those big monster robot things would sound like running. Like you heard them.
So it sounded like
before.
organic or techno-organic things, clunk, 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 not like an engine sound.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
like impact noises, thump, thump, kind of making their way. But morning comes. You guys are all well rested, ready to face the day.
Sweet.
You haven't seen any activity inside the perimeter of the Air Force base that you're in.
All right. Well, this is a really good resource, and I think that we should definitely come back. I mean,
Oh yeah.
you look like you were having fun, and there's a ton of stuff in here that I'd love to get into the museum.
This place is great.
And who knows, we might even be able to make some of these things work again. That'd be could be a really valuable resource for the castle.
Yeah, if we find this Andrew guy, we should totally recruit him too.
Yeah. Ask if we can use his air force.
If he's dragon, he might still be alive. That's true.
For sure. So you guys, your plan is to continue shadowing the road, head in that direction. Cool. You make your way out, and you have to cross sort of the big wide open field. You get to the far end of this open field, and you kind of just barely see the road outside, kind of heading off a little bit to the northeast again. And right when you get to the edge of this field, you get like a just horrible headache.
Uh-oh.
And all of you, you're walking along, and it's like from one step to the next, it's like the ground turns into like a marshmallow substance, and you all just kind of sink into the ground. Like in the space of one step, it's up to your waist, and then half a second later, it's up to your neck, and then it's up over your head. Oddly enough, you don't seem that disturbed by it. Like, it's super weird, but, like, you don't feel like you're suffocating or being trapped or crushed or anything weird like that.
Can we move?
You kind of... Yeah.
Can we see?
Are we continuing to fall? Or...
No, you kind of get down into the subterranean once you're all the way submerged, and you don't feel like you're descending any further. But you can't really see, but you kind of have a sense of where directions were. I mean, as long as you don't spin yourself around 10 times and get dizzy.
So this is like...
Is everyone all right?
Yeah.
I'm
voice comes over the comm.
in the ground.
Yeah, so
weird.
Something's weird's going on. I got some kind of a surge. I sent something right before this happened. Everyone, I guess, can we get up? Can we climb? Or get to land again, or at least get like a head free to look around and see what's kind of trapped us here.
After you kind of get your bearings a little bit, you kind of push up, and it almost feels like you're walking on stairs. And you go up 2 or 3 steps, and then your head kind of pops out of the ground, and you look around.
Yeah, like the moment my head pops up, I want to like look around and find out what's doing this, and I want to find some sort of cover to direct everyone to get behind.
Basically, you're almost at the big steel fence line now.
Oh, so we're still inside the perimeter.
Yeah, you're just inside that fence line, and like in front of you, maybe 5 feet is the big fence. Looking around, there's no real cover right here. Like back a ways is buildings.
Right.
But yeah, and you don't see anybody like standing there going anything crazy, or any giant robot beast that's shooting a quicksand ray gun.
This is a...
I'm going to try and move forward to where the fence looked like it should be.
Sure. You start walking, and you feel like you're moving. How long do you want to go?
reasonable estimate of where I thought the fence was.
Okay. You feel like you're at the spot where the fence would be?
And there's no fence?
No.
Can I go up?
You kind of climb up, and your head pops up out. You kind of look around, and the fence is just a little bit behind your head.
Oh, what do I see in front of me?
Just a
A
kind of
normal road?
sort of, just some, like, undeveloped land, sort of, like a field.
Oh, okay.
And then you kind of see the highway up in the distance.
I think we might have triggered some sort of defense mechanism or something. But
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like it's harming anyone. Everyone okay? Check in.
I'm fine. I made it outside the fence.
Do you think maybe this is how they're traveling without us seeing them?
They
I mean,
could be, but if they could do this, they would have done it from the castle and prevented us from trailing them in the first place.
yeah.
I'm thinking this might be some sort of defense for the base.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Like
I
if
think-
someone hopped over the fence and went into this field, into the ground, and then if they came up, I mean, if this trap lets you come up normally, there might be some mechanism that hasn't been tripped. So we should probably try and get out of here quick,
Yeah, that makes sense.
just in case something else comes online.
It's
Sure.
like a bad trap, though, if it doesn't really do nothing to you.
It's kind of the opposite of a trap.
Yeah, it's kind of like a great hiding place.
Well, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that was where some of their forces would hide,
And that's true.
We should
and then
remember
if
this
something
for
came
later.
into the base, boom, they'd pop up and have like perfect positions.
Right.
But in any case, we should probably get out of it, just in case it is dangerous.
Okay.
So
Yeah, it'll
what
let us
kind-
get on the other side of the fence. Should we just go that way? Or if we're heading out
I
of here?
sort of already did.
Yeah. That's why we're faulty.
Yeah.
Well, you actually can see the top of her head on the other side of the fence.
Right.
And she's like, and then a hand comes up and waves at you.
All right, so I'm going to follow that direction.
Sure.
Good plan. So we'll duck under and
Yeah.
come
You
up
walk
behind the
a
fence.
ways, and then you think about coming out, and again, it feels like you're sort of walking up steps, and then you're standing outside the fence.
It feels very much like it's meant to be very easy to get out of.
Yeah.
It feels like it's almost like magically triggered.
Once you're out of the ground, you don't feel like it's squishy or weird or anything.
Oh, maybe it only works inside the base.
Maybe
like
it's
to
a
get
way
out,
to get out,
but not to
like
get
as
in.
a secret passage or something.
Interesting. Interesting.
Weird.
You do note that it seemed like Lambert, even in his armor, sunk in and went under and came back out.
Neat.
Right. Right. Those Andrews people were pretty clever.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Good job, Andrew.
Yeah. All right, well, we should probably continue on.
On you go. Again, it's a little less urban at this point. You see there's some undeveloped land, like I said. There's some trees and field-looking spaces. And you can kind of continue north a bit. Eventually, you kind of make your way around some more buildings and everything, and then you get to a point where, are you flying up above to keep an eye on things, or are you traveling with everybody on the ground?
I probably still fly just to keep an eye out ahead to see
Sure.
if I can spot weird things like giant fields with numbers on them.
Absolutely. So you don't see any more giant fields with numbers on them. There's some collections of buildings. It looks like every once in a while there'll be a lot of like houses, and then there'll be a collection of larger buildings grouped together. But then you kind of get to a road that looks like it heads directly northeast, like directly in the direction you want to go.
Oh, okay.
And off in that distance, it looks like there's like kind of big spaces where it doesn't look developed, foresty even. And then in the north, again, you can see that there's some smoke from some kind of settlement up there. Not like lots of little cook fires kind of smoke, but
Like,
Like
almost
industrial?
like industrial
bigger.
sort of.
Okay.
Yeah. The fires of industry.
yeah. Cool. Cool. We should go that way.
Yeah, I agree.
So you continue to head on up here. You know what? Let me...
Should I draw another card?
No, I'm going to make a roll.
I reshuffled because we had a Joker.
Yeah.
It's all fair and good, but I don't want the complete randomness of the cards. I want to do like
Fair enough.
Yeah.
a roll. All right. Maybe a half hour, 20 minutes
So
or
you got me
so.
a soda.
Yeah.
What kind
do you want?
The diet something.
If there's 2, I would totally take one too.
There's a Coke Zero.
I'll take that.
Will that do?
Yeah.
Which one do you want? I'll take you one.
Whatever. I had a giant beer, so I'm like, I should have some caffeine.
Sorry, we distracted you from what you were saying.
That's cool. Half hour or so into your hiking north, and you're making pretty good time. You get, you actually see several of the things that you've been
Oh.
tracking along the main road in the distance.
Okay.
And they look like they're heading south along the road. It doesn't look like they're like charging down here to like shoot at you or anything, but it looks like
But
they're heading in this direction.
on the road. Okay. Looks like we've got some thief bots on the main road coming towards us from the north. They're not running. They don't look like they know we're here. But I'm gonna fly down
Yeah.
Sure.
so they don't notice me.
Let's get outside as best we can, and
Yeah.
hope they pass us by.
Sure.
And
About how far out did they look?
Couple miles.
Okay, so we'll have a
It's a
few
pretty
minutes.
clear day. You've got pretty decent view.
doesn't seem likely that they've got a lot of air capability, or they probably would have brought it for the raid on the castle.
Yeah.
Because if they could have gotten Vaughn and then gone straight to where they want to go rather than following
Yeah.
the roads, that seems likely.
I didn't see any air traffic.
That's good. They might not be looking up very much, so you might be our ace in the hole for that.
Yeah, just in case they'll all come down until they pass.
Cool. So you guys land. You want to try and hide like in a building, or just in some
Well-
trees, or
So is it, because I thought you said that it was a little less developed,
yeah, it's not very
or was
urban.
that just like the strip of land right next to
there's
space?
like there's sort of like you'll pass through an area that doesn't seem like it has buildings at all, and it's sort of wooded, and then you'll get to an area that looks like a suburb, sort of like there'll be collections of houses and various commercial-looking buildings and that kind of stuff as you go. So it's really kind of up to you. Like, if you want to try and hide in a building, great, we can do that. Or if you want to just try and hide in the woods, we can do that too.
I say kind of whichever was closer, to be honest. Like, I think if we saw them going, we're not going to be like, they'd be like, oh, gotta get to cover.
Sure, but
I would think
I'm
I would
giving
think
you the option
equidistant?
because they're both
Okay.
like
I
they're
would-
both in range to hide before those guys would come down. At
I
the
would
speed you saw them going.
I would say in a building if possible,
All right.
with
Yeah.
the logic being if they use any sort of thermal sensing or if they're using some sort of echo or whatever, we might be able to disguise better in man-made structures than in the woods.
Yeah.
Sure.
Totally.
Yep.
Building it is.
You find a collection of like townhouse-looking buildings, like a residential townhouses, multi-story kind of deals with like a garage on the bottom floor and that kind of deal. But you can easily get up and break in the door on one and get inside. Inside, it looks much like a modern American suburban household. You know, there's pictures of a family that you don't know on the wall, and there's a sofa that's all decayed and gross.
You're loving this. It's like, oh, look at the look what they're wearing.
Sure, yeah. I mean, the pictures, in fact, give you a weird insight into clothing styles of the
This is great.
the time and that sort of deal.
Is there something still in a frame behind the glass, and I can like take some small photos?
Absolutely. There's
Okay.
there's a piano that looks like nobody ever plays it, and it's just got a bunch of
Nice.
pictures on top.
I don't want to get sidetracked, but this is fascinating.
Yeah, this is amazing.
And a few minutes later, you actually hear some crunching coming down the road. But it seems like it's on the road, that kind of deal. Everybody can actually make a notice check.
Notice.
Nope, I don't notice anything. 2. Oh no, 0, because a -2. You need to get more noticey.
8.
4.
Cool.
We're all
What do
like,
I
look at the
sniff?
pictures. Yeah.
Seconds later, after you hear the main sound going down the road, you get the idea that there's probably some other things that are moving through, like, off the road. Sort of like if that was sort of the main part of the patrol, it looks like they have scouts out moving outward like that. And give me a second. The explodey
either
dice,
good
1.
or bad.
So yeah, you kind of, you don't hear them as much because it seems like they're not marching on asphalt, but you get the idea that it maybe some of those the mounts kind of things are running along out here in some sort of a pattern,
Okay.
but they seem to pass by without getting noticed that you guys are here.
Okay. Yeah, and especially like when we heard them coming along, we probably would have gotten super quiet. And
Yeah.
And I'll say that Lambert hid in the garage.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
got in the house.
He's not just standing there like, maybe they
Holding
won't
some
notice
shrubbery.
me.
It's like, I'll just be the living robot.
Yeah, it'd be great.
He's just, he stands in the middle of like a little piece
You
of,
find a plinth that
Yeah.
you can stand on.
it's like a planter. He's just standing in it like a statue.
Lambert, lie down, and maybe the any radar signal think you're a car or something.
There you go.
Yeah, like he probably had to kind of crawl into the garage, so he did.
Okay.
It's fine.
All right. I'm going to advise that we wait like 20 or 30 minutes after they pass, just to make sure there's no trailer,
Yeah.
or that they don't turn back around. That this is just like the limit of their route.
Yeah. I agree. Hopefully, they always are monitoring their roads that way, and that's not a sign that they're onto us or know that something's in their area.
I think if they were suspicious, they'd be combing through this development, or just flattening it.
Yeah, this is true probably.
From what we've seen of their capabilities, that's something they could absolutely do.
Yeah. Well, we're probably coming up on some much needed rest. Or no, we just got it.
We just got up.
never mind.
Yeah. It's probably midday by now.
Oh, okay.
You've been traveling a while, but not.
Okay, not all day. Okay.
And you got a good night's sleep last night.
Yeah. Okay.
You're fine.
Never mind. I don't say that.
So they don't seem to be coming back then. We don't hear anything.
No, you wait another 30 minutes and you don't get the idea that there's anybody else around, or more patrols are passing by or anything.
Perhaps you should stay even a little bit farther off the road then, if they're fanning out on the sides of the road as well.
Yeah, if they're professional, they're dragging the sides. We should definitely make sure that we try and stay outside their range if we can.
Yeah.
So I think we'll modify accordingly and
Yeah.
keep moving.
So you move a little bit farther off the road. At this point, you just get the occasional peek at it as you march along. And you get a ways farther on. You pass through a few more residential areas. And then you come across it's just a great big expanse of asphalt with lots of lines painted on it. And then side of this big parking lot
Sorry, I just like more monuments.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was like.
Monuments.
is,
Did they number these ones?
is a building
someone
that,
else's Air Force base.
that looks a lot like Castle Refuge.
Oh.
Like it's a big building, and at the end near you, it looks like it's made out of a stone castle. Like it has two big parapets and a big gate, and on one end of the building. The rest of the building, like in the distance, doesn't look like it's all made out of stone, but this end near you absolutely does.
They got a castle.
Yeah. And it looks like
I was just seeing if it was still frozen.
it's probably not
No, that's okay. I was just interested.
that cold anymore. But it's actually made to go inside a Tupperware thing to keep a salad cold.
Oh,
And then this holds the
And you
salad
modified it to
dressing.
be a beer cooler.
Well,
No,
My
that wasn't an action. That was not surprise. That was
no,
yes.
my my other cold things I
Oh.
forgot to put in the freezer last night since I was just here.
Yeah. I remember I was here too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I was down to the dregs of figuring out a way to keep a beer cold on the way
Yeah,
here.
it was very difficult.
But it looks like this building has seen some activity. You see some of the footprints crunched through the big parking lot area, and it looks like the parking lot area is devoid of vehicles. Like other places you've seen big parking lots, and there's always several that are left.
Right.
They're rusting hulks and stuff, but this looks like it's all been cleared out around this weird castle building.
Interesting.
And now that you've traveled this far, the industrial smoke that you've seen is not very much farther to the north
Okay.
from here.
Is it like behind the castle? Or
Yeah,
like,
it's on the other side of this big castle building.
Okay.
Well, I hate to say it, but perhaps Vaughn is in that castle.
And they took him from our castle to take to their castle.
Yeah.
Very weird.
I mean, no, maybe they got. I have no idea. I remember maybe they got confused and thought that because we'd built a castle like theirs, they were
They didn't look
wrong.
confused.
No, they weren't.
Someone built a castle like ours. We gotta steal one of their children to show them what's up.
Weird robot logic.
To lure him back to
Yeah,
our
to our
castle and show him that
castle.
we made a castle too, and then we'll give him back. It'll be fine.
Now
be
we're
friends.
friends.
It made more sense before I opened my mouth. Because one of the things where I started talking is like,
Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra.
I don't actually have an end to this that makes any sense.
Castle buddies.
Yes.
But actually, I think this is a great place to stop.
Yeah. Dun dun dun.
So I will say that you guys find one of the outbuildings around this castle that you kind of hole up in and wait for next time.
Sweet.
Bum, bum,
Yay.
bum.
Awesome. Thank you guys for watching.
And I'll put a post on the forum to tell everybody exactly what this weird castle building is.
Yeah, we won't read it. It'll be great.
I'll mark it not for players.
We're good about it. We have, let's see, we have another game coming up on Wednesday.
Woo!
Let's talk about it.
Werewolf
both of you
Wednesday.
guys. Yeah.
Werewolf
Hashtag-
Wednesday. Hashtag
You can
Werewolf
see
Wednesday.
Yeah.
both of us be werewolves
Yeah,
in,
Max Pack.
in the Wild West. Mac, our GM, will be heading up Max Pack.
Yeah.
And it's going to be super fun.
Razor Ridge, be there or be a regular cubic
Another
shape.
place.
Yeah.
Check out happyjacks.org/schedule for all our upcoming shows, including the regular podcast on Friday nights and all our other APs, which there's a lot of them now. So, yeah, do that. And like we were saying earlier, you can join the forum at happyjacks.org/forum. Amazing eyebrow action happening with Dave right now. To chat about this game, other games, find games of your own, do the things. So thank you guys very much. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
We're out of time and out of space, lamenting for the human race. A cataclysmic crisis from power.